Hello, everybody. This is Lyrical Miracle 9608, and welcome to Pokéfarm Q, a fan game made by Pokemon lovers for Pokemon lovers. Not made by Nintendo themselves. It is a fan game, like I said, but it was made about, I want to say about 10 or so years ago. Hell, it could be longer than that. I could be pulling that number out of my butthole for all I know. But it's been going for a while now, and I've been playing this game for 2 years. It's really good fun. I'm known as Luke Peristal on there, so if you ever feel like joining, then tell him that Luke Peristal referred you, and we can get some free coins and some custom sprites out of that. But I'm not here to promote the website. I am here to show you something really crazy that's going on right now. And it's kind of a phenomenon that happens every time a new variant comes out. So when I say variant, I want you to understand what that means. When I say a variant, it means a different version of an already existing Pokemon. Here is a good example, actually. As you could see, I've got this Ghastly line here that is really flamey and really cool. And that's because this is called a Bonfire Ghastly, which is a Ghost Fire variant of Ghastly that just came out for Mass Click Weekend 119. And Mass Click Weekends, well, what are those? They are basically 2 days every month, obviously weekend days, Saturday and Sunday, where you have those 2 days, you have those 48 hours to do 10,000 interactions. Now, an interaction is simply just a click, whether it's a click on a berry to feed a Pokemon or a click on an egg to hold it. Of course, this egg is already prepared to hatch, so let me see if anything's on. How's my albino radar looking? We'll give it just a little boost today. We'll give it a level 4 boost today. I'm only hatching 1 egg today. But you never know. You can't hatch an albino if you don't have the radar on. So, here we go. Ooh, chain bonus. Very nice. Okay, I didn't think it would sparkle in anywhere, but it was worth a shot. That's why I only charged it a little bit after all. So, there's our Genesect. And, yeah. Here's my lovely fiery ghost Pokemon, and I love them, and they're great. So, like I said, Mass Click Weekend, it's the last weekend of every month. At least I think it's specifically the last. Yes, I want to say it's the last weekend of every month. And if we go to this person who has Pokerus here, as you can see, I mean, they're all ready to hatch, but if we go to the showcase and I feed them their berries, that's 6 interactions. So each click is an interaction, whether it's clicking a berry, clicking an egg, that's a click, hence mass click, because 10,000 clicks, that's a lot. Also, if you're wondering what that little blue padlock is, that means that Pokemon is locked to your account. That means you cannot trade it to anyone. And this one is locked to Kiki's account because that is the one that they got for Mass Click Weekend 119, as you can see. Which means they did 10,000 clicks. As did I, as you can see. But I mean, you only get one, right? You only get 1 egg for a Mass Click Weekend. And not every Mass Click Weekend awards you an egg. Some of them do. Some of them award you different things, like new totem forms, for example. But it'll always be some sort of prize, like an egg, and then usually like a second thing, like a voucher or something. You only get 1 egg. So this one with the blue padlock that's evolved all the way is my Gengar that I got from it. Now, a little side note, a very interesting thing I noticed is that the evolution line works exactly the same as the original Ghastly line, in which you get Haunter at level 25, and then you get Gengar through a trade. Now, what I've noticed is that I was able to evolve this without trading it, and I have a theory for why. I'm not 100% certain on this, so if anyone knows, feel free to correct me. But I believe the reason I was able to evolve this without trading is because collecting the egg from the trade center, where you get the egg from, any Pokemon you collect, whether it's from a trade, from a Pokewalker Scout thing, or from a Mass Click weekend, it's collected through the trade center. So my theory is that because it was collected from the trade center, that means it was traded from the get-go. Because I have been able to evolve multiple Haunter in this way. Whether it's an original Haunter or a Bonfire one, it works the same way. If it has been traded to you at any point during its life, it can evolve into a Gengar. It does not have to be traded as a Haunter. It can be traded as a Ghastly. And I don't know if that was always the case, or if that is a glitch, like an exploit of some sort, or if that is just intentional. And if it is, if it's exclusive to this website, or if that has always been the case in Pokemon games, I wouldn't know. But I just think that's a very cool thing to note on the side there. But that's not the important thing right now. What is important is that there's this phenomenon that happens that every time a variant egg comes out, like it did for Mass Click Weekend, everyone is suddenly trying to breed for more of those eggs, which makes sense because you only get one. And variant eggs, when they originally come out, you only get one. I mean, that's kind of like the special excitement of it all. You win one, and then you can hatch it. And if you just want that one, that's totally cool. If you want more, then you either gotta trade with people, or you gotta breed for them. Now, of course, you can't trade your original one that you get from a Mass Click Weekend, but you can get traded other, copies, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but, I won't say copies. I'll say, offspring. Like, once you get yours, you can then breed it, and then any spares you get, you can trade with other people. So, of course, people are going feral for this thing. I mean, look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's a ghost. And it's a bonfire. It's genius. It's beautiful. It's a lovely line, and the shinies of it are absolutely gorgeous. Really beautiful. As are the albinos and the melons. And before I get too sidetracked, I do want to explain what an albino and a melon is for those who don't play. So everyone knows what a shiny Pokemon is, right? It's basically a Pokemon that just is a different color than what it usually is, and it sparkles, and it's rare, and people hunt for them because they are rare, and that's it. They're rare and valuable, and people like them. So people are, of course, wanting to breed this new variant, as they do with every variant, to get more of them, and then trade them and get more of them, or give them to people, or gift them to people. And then people sometimes want to hunt for that shiny. Now, what an albino Pokemon is, it is similar to a shiny Pokemon. It's basically the same thing in principle, right? It's a Pokemon that's a different color and it sparkles, but an albino Pokemon is simply like an alt version of a shiny, right? It is basically a Pokemon with albinism. Like, it's in the name. It's an albino, it's a paler version. Well, not always paler, but you know what I mean. Like, albinism as a condition, like, that it's a real thing in real life. So it's in the Pokemon world, it's basically Pokemon with albinism. And they are also very rare and valuable and sought after. And now a melanistic Pokemon, I mean, in the same essence of a Pokemon having albinism, it's a Pokemon with melanin, basically. It's a darker version of it. But the reason melanistic Pokemon, or as we call them, melons, the reason why these exist is because they're actually the rarest of them all. And the reason they're the rarest of them all is because they are an albino version of a shiny. It means they are both at the same time. So, if you have a shiny Pokemon, you have a shiny Pokemon. If you have an albino Pokemon, it's like an alternative shiny that tends to be lighter or just different in some way, and it's just really nice and light and cool. And a melon Pokemon is an albino shiny Pokemon. So, like, it's the actual canon shiny, but with albinism. Like, isn't that such a cool concept? And it's rare enough to hunt for shinies, but albinos are even rarer, or at least they're supposed to be. I tend to have better luck with albinos than I do shiny, but I guess it just depends. But melons are, of course, the rarest of them all, so people, of course, want to go hunting for the sparkly versions of variants as soon as possible, right? Because of course they do. And, like, just look at this. I'm going to get this up on the wiki, right? Because you'll need to look at this. It's beautiful. It is one of the best, like, consistently best across all versions I have ever seen of colorations. And you got Bonfire Ghastly there, Bonfire Haunter at level 25, Bonfire Gengar at trade, which, like I said, the one you get from the click weekend, I guess automatically counts as a trade. Look how beautiful this motherfucker is in all versions of it. So you've got the original in the top left, shiny in the top right, albino in the bottom left, and melon in the bottom right. Isn't that beautiful? And the coloration is consistent across the line. Like, these have got to be some of my favorite variations I've ever seen. And because melons are so rare, there are two possible things going on here with the file not being available. Either no one has hatched a melon of it yet, or someone has hatched a melon of it, but it was so recent the page just hasn't been updated yet. Which makes sense, because this has only been available for about a day, maybe 2 days now. So, I mean, what day are we on? We're on Tuesday. And they get rewarded. Mass Click Weekend prizes get rewarded on, like, as soon as it turns midnight on Monday, basically. So they've been out for, like, 2 days. So, of course, it's very unlikely someone has a melon yet. I know that the other two have been hatched. And I have seen them. I have seen them on the site, in fact. They look beautiful. Whereas the melanistic Bonfire Gengar has not been updated yet. And if y'all want to see the trivia for this variant, then just pause the video here for about 5 seconds, or however long you need to read. And then just resume at any time. I don't know what to say while this is paused, so beep beep boop. That doesn't even make sense. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let me show you what this is talking about. So, the Party Panic event was where you could get a costumed Gengar. Because, you know, Halloween's coming up, so we need all the Gengar love we can get. And as you can see, I've completed the Party Panic event now. And you're like, well, where's this shiny Bonfire Ghastly is talking about. It's right there. I didn't actually notice it because I thought it was just a regular bonfire. And what is really, really clever is that according to the Bonfire Ghastly's Pokédex entry, if you are standing by a bonfire and you do not cast a shadow, then it is a Bonfire Ghastly. None of these characters are casting shadows at all. Now, I don't know if that was deliberate on the artist's, like perspective of like doing this. I don't know if they deliberately forewent the shadows. But if they did, then that's very cool. And if not, you know what? It's a happy little accident, isn't it? So, yeah, you know what? I'll show you the dance contest like at the end of the video if you like. So just stick around if you want to stay for that. I'll try not to make this video too long, however, because the actual point. Let me just mark this notification as red, otherwise it will annoy me. I mean, this is a forum website, so there are threads and forums and stuff like that. So, yeah, if we get into the actual main point of the video now, my main point is this phenomenon that happens every time a variant of a Pokemon comes out. And that people want to breed for these variants. And what ends up happening is that people end up with a huge excess of eggs of the original form of it. And they then release them into the shelter if they don't want them. Some people keep all their eggs from their daycare, whatever they breed, which is really cool. But, I mean, you only have a finite amount of adoptions. So, if you want a specific egg and you breed a lot of eggs and you can't really keep them all, you kind of got to make some executive decisions there, really, don't you? So, it's all good. It is what it is. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this phenomenon happens. And for this, we have to go through the daycare. Now, please bear with me. This is going to be the longest part of the video, but I'll try not to make it painfully long. To show you how this works, I'm going to put in just 2 random Pokemon that are just their normal selves to explain how the daycare works. Then I'll put in a variant and a non-variant, and then I'll put in 2 variants and show you the difference. So if we just, I don't know, girl and boy. Okay, I thought they were opposite sex, so I got these 2 shiny Delibirds here, which I really love. I don't think I hatched them, actually. I think I got these traded to me. I did, and I have Quirky Rabbit to thank for both of them, I think. Oh yeah, I traded an Arceus for it, lol. It wasn't one I summoned, obviously. I didn't summon that till very recently. Took me a freaking while, but worth it. So here's how the daycare works. You get a breeding cycle, and that increases for every interaction. So if we refresh that, that will now go up to 3%. Field interactions give you 2 points. Because these Pokemon are in fields, that's 2 points each, which 2 points is 1%, whereas party interactions give you 3. So if we click on this person's lovely albino Gumi there, and this Gumi egg, it's now on 6%. So yeah, you can see, like, this isn't a shiny Gumi, because shiny Gumi is yellow and pink. This one is an albino, and it's this lovely pale pink color. It even has a twin, in fact. So, these parents are doing a very good job in the daycare. But we'll get to that in a moment so that I can show you how the daycare works. So here we have two Pokemon, a boy and a girl. And now when a boy Pokemon and a girl Pokemon love each other very much, actually it doesn't have to be a boy or a girl. You can breed genderless Pokemon, such as Ditto and such with, everything. But there are other sexless Pokemon that you can breed as well. Non-binary rights, baby. So yeah, that's a thing. Breeding's a thing. Has been in the Pokemon games for a while now. So how the daycare works on this website. Now, please bear with me. I'll try not to ramble too long. But you put these two Pokemon in a daycare. Any Pokemon you like that can breed. And it will tell you the compatibility of them. How well they get along. And this one says the Pokemon get along reasonably well. So that's pretty good. They don't adore each other, but they like each other. They're good pals. So that's cool. So that means they have a chance of breeding. Really interesting trivia. Because of the Pokedex entries, you can try to breed a Zangoose and a Seviper, but they will always hate each other. Which I think is a very neat nod to the canon. I really like that. So obviously you have a better chance of breeding Pokemon that like each other. I mean, you're not really going to want to breed with someone that you don't like. But you start off seeing their relationship compatibility, and you get two Pokemon that like each other. And that's where you start. So the relationships you can get from worst to best. Don't quote me on it. I can't remember them word for word verbatim, but I'll try to remember as best as I can. But the worst you can get is the Pokemon can barely tolerate being together. Then next one up is the Pokemon prefer being with others. So that's like they're kind of meh with each other. They can put up with each other, but they're just kind of meh. And then the next one up is the Pokemon get along reasonably well. So that's kind of like in the middle. And the next one up from that is the Pokemon are very friendly towards each other. So that's like really good. You've got really good chances. And then the best one you can get where the Pokemon just absolutely love each other, can't get enough of each other, would say the Pokemon are inseparable. So obviously, like, the better their relationship is, the better it is you're going to breed them. So you want to try and get inseparable Pokemon, which I'm guessing those, what's the middle one called? Sliggoo? I'm guessing those Sliggoos that we saw earlier, they had to be inseparable, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to breed twins. I'll tell you how you can breed twins in just a little moment, but we will get to that. So you start off with your relationship, and you're like, okay, they like each other, that's a good start. So for every breeding cycle, the daycare will do 3 checks. It'll do a base check, a modified check, and an egg chance check. Now, the best way I can explain this is that the base check is the chance that the two Pokemon will go on a date together, basically. The chance that they'll actually, basically the chance for a date night, essentially. Then the modified chance is a check to whether they'll actually, attempt to breed. Or rather, no, I suppose the better way to explain it... See, I should have scripted this, because now I'm saying it kind of not quite how I want it to. Okay, let me rephrase this. So, the base chance is the chance that they'll, hook up, basically. The modified chance is the chance that they'll attempt to breed together. And the modified chance succeeding that it says here, if the modified chance succeeds, then that means they succeeded in attempting to have a baby. Not that they succeeded in conceiving a baby, but they succeeded in attempting to have a baby. So the base check is date night. The modified check is... yeah, the modified check is basically, them hooking up. The modified chance success is trying to have an egg, and then the egg chance is the chance is what egg, it determines what egg you'll get. So if the modified chance succeeds, then that means they attempt to have a baby. Now the egg chance, when it says 100%, that means they will only ever make eggs. Okay, that was kind of poorly phrased. That felt like it was going to go somewhere else with that sentence, but don't worry about it. Egg chance 100% means that if the modified chance succeeds, then they will always make eggs. They'll always succeed in, making an egg. Not all Pokemon can do this. Not all Pokemon can get 100% egg chance. Because sometimes Pokemon will succeed, and same goes for humans, and, all animals that breed, right? Not all Pokemon that successfully attempt to have a baby do successfully have a baby, because that's just how life works, right? But in the case of these two Delibirds, they're lucky because if they successfully attempt to make an egg, they will make an egg, which is helped by the fact that they're both Delibirds. They're both canon Pokemon, not variants. They're not super rare or anything like that. Just usual stuff. It's like it's pretty easy to breed Delibird with the right conditions. It tends to be like variants, like unique variants that don't have the 100% chance thing. But that's basically how that works. So as you can see, these two Delibirds, their base chance is 46, their modified is 72, and their egg chance is 100. So that's pretty good. So the base chance is just, like I said, the chance that they'll go on a date. And you can affect all these stats, by the way. Their chances of success depends on you. Their chances of... whether they like each other or not, that's up to them. Sorry, there's a hair on my phone screen. There we go, that's gone now. Anyway, whether they like each other is up to them, but whether they succeed in breeding is entirely up to you. So let's see how this breaks down. Now, there's a bit of math involved in this. I'm not going to go into the math. I'm just going to summarize it. So, base, the following components are additive. All that means is that the percentages add up to the current percent. As you can see, you know what? That doesn't add up to 46, does it? Okay, so obviously there's some other math thing going on. I'm not exactly sure, but the base is basically, it's the minimum, right? It's the minimum that you can get, essentially. So the following components are additive, they add up. So the base chance is just, the bog standard initial chance that you have. Species obviously depends on what species you're breeding. So if both Pokemon are the same species, that's going to be a higher number. So you obviously want your higher numbers, right? You want higher percentages, you want higher chances. So better to breed Pokemon of the same species. You don't have to, it's just easier. When I say it's better to do something in terms of breeding, just substitute that with the word easier. So, the species 10%, obviously they're both Delibirds, so, it is what it is. Body type depends on size, shape, silhouette, that kind of stuff. Any weight differences, height differences. Obviously, with them both being identical Delibirds, there's like no difference in body type, so it's pretty good. Type matchup, that depends on, what actual type out of the 18 types the Pokemon are. So if they're both the same type or exact same type combo, then yeah, it's going to be easier to breed them. Whereas it might be a bit more difficult to breed, say, a fire and a water Pokemon, for example. Not impossible. There are, in fact, variants of Pokemon that require fire and water Pokemon to breed, such as the Blue Moon Slugma line, which is very cool. You can get all sorts of weird and wonderful variants through breeding very unexpected Pokemon. You can breed a Vulpix and an Articuno to make a Koroku, I think it's called. Something like that. It's a really cool, like, fire ice fox thing. It's really cool. And you could do all sorts of weird and wonderful shit like that. But I digress. I'm going on a tangent now. So, obviously, Pokemon type, they're both ice flying, so perfect matchup. And it doesn't say here because they don't have it in common. But if they did have it in common, then it would say. You also get... Wait, no, actually, that's going to be in the... No, it's not. It is in the base. Okay. It will sometimes mention a nature matchup as well, which means what nature the Pokemon are. So, this Delibird is naughty, which means she likes spicy food and dislikes bitter food. And for those who know how that affects stats and care about stats at all, I believe that means spicy is attack, right? And bitter is... I don't remember. I don't remember what bitter is. But as you see, IV attack is 9. Base is 55. Special okay, I guess bitter is special defense then? That sounds right to me. I don't know. But, yeah. I don't particularly pay attention to stats all that much. It means don't give her bitter berries, give her spicy berries. And then this boy is sweet, which means he doesn't like dry food, but he likes sweet food. Sweet, I think, is speed. Yes, it is. And dry is special attack. So she's a speedy gal. Sorry, he's a speedy boy. Did not mean to misgender my bird there. I do apologize. But yeah. Flavor preferences and nature affect stats, but that's not really my thing. I happen to know a bit about it, but, I don't really care about it all that much. However, if you're breeding, you should care about it. At least the flavor preferences, rather than the stats. Unless you want to breed for specific stats, then that's okay. If you want to breed for specific stats, then you need yourself a Destiny Knot, which increases the number of past IVs from 3 to 5, making it much easier to breed down the stats you want. But Destiny Knots are freaking expensive, and I don't really care about the IVs all that much, so, it is what it is. Anyway, because they don't have the common liked food or the common disliked food, it's just not relevant, so it doesn't say nature matchup. But if you had, say, 2 sweet-natured Delibird, that's different, because they both like sweet food. And if you have them, they don't have to like the same food, they can also dislike the same food. So you could have, like, spicy naughty, so that dislikes bitter. The sweet one that dislikes bitter is naive. So if you were to breed a naughty and a naive Pokemon, I mean, they don't like the same flavor at all, but they agree on the flavor that they dislike. That still counts. So if they have a common disliked food or a common liked food or both, then that counts as a nature matchup, which would then get added onto the additive components, and that would really help your cause. So that would be cool. So your best bet would be to breed them just with the exact same nature. Like, for example, 2 timid Pokemon. They both dislike spicy. They both like sweet. I just picked timid because it's one of my favorite natures. It's just very cute and relatable, so yeah, something like that. So all those like natural, like biological things would affect the base chance. So that and their relationship and their compatibility with each other determines whether they're going to actually have any chance of breeding at all. So that's the first part you gotta, account for. So every cycle, they check to see if they want to go on a date night, basically. And if you have this red machine thing, which I don't know how to pronounce, because I don't know where the emphasis is. Is it Gigaramo? Is it Gigaremo? Is it Gigaramo? I don't know. But it's a machine that produces artificial bonds in Pokemon and can be used to double the rate at which your Pokemon breed. So it just makes the breeding cycle twice as fast. However, it does make Pokemon unhappy, and you want your Pokemon to be happy so that they're actually willing to breed in the first place. Which for a while, until very recently, that was a bit of a scary thing. But now it's not so scary because now it comes with an auto feeder, which allows you to load various consumables for your Pokemon to counteract the happiness drain, so it just keeps them happy, which is what I did with my cursor rings that I was breeding. What are cursor rings, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. I believe they're in this field. This field. That's the one. Here's cursoring. Isn't it beautiful? So it is a variant of Teddiursa called Teddy Cursor that is normal and ghost type. A stuffed toy that has long been abandoned by its owner. Teddy Cursor is covered in rough stitches as it constantly struggles to repair its own ragged body. Now you see those platforms there with the multiple Teddy Cursor? Yeah, that's the shiny version and the albino version. The black question mark is the melon version, which I haven't got yet. Emphasis on yet. And as you could see, that is determined by yellow star for shiny, purple star for albino. It was pink before. I kind of prefer the pink, but I still like the purple one. It's still nice. And black for melon. And then at level 30, just like with a regular Teddiursa, it evolves into Cursor Ring, which roams the land looking for antique furniture and upholstery to destroy. It uses the material to maintain its patchwork body, and I love this little zombie teddy so much. I was on Team Normal this month, and it's Halloween season, so of course I had to hunt for a Halloweeny normal type. And I was like, what better than Zombie Teddy? I'm doing a zombie apocalypse badge this month for Rebel Badge Club. It's perfect. So, there you go. So, after a long shiny hunt, I managed to succeed. As you can see, by this field here. And these are the parents we've got. We've got the mama bear, who is hasty. And the papa bear, who is naive. So, as you can see, they both like sweet food. So, that helps. And I Everstoned them because I wanted to try to breed for a sweet bear. I wouldn't have been too upset if that hadn't worked. I don't get too upset about what's called Everstone dodging, which means that the child just dodges the Everstone and just doesn't get the nature that the parents have. Because giving a Pokemon an Everstone and then breeding it means it's more likely to pass its nature onto its child, like the Destiny Knot does with IVs. And I managed to get my shiny, but she's an Everstone dodger. She turned out to be serious, but she likes sweet berries too, so that's okay. In fact, she likes all berries, so I really don't mind. And I managed to get an albino as well, who did not dodge the Everstone. She is naive like her dad. And I wasn't going to evolve them. I didn't want to. But then I did anyway. So I was like, okay, well, I'll dress them up before they do. I mean, I know they're not dressed up, but that's, the feature. It's the name of the feature. So it just means you can make an image of them. So I made their images on their pages so that it could, kind of stay eternal baby in some way, shape, or form. And, yeah, my hunt worked. Oh, there's the thing you can get from breeding, well, specifically that thing, Koroku. That's the thing you get from breeding Vulpix and Articuno. And then this is, the mega form of it. Isn't it beautiful? I love it so much. Anyway, I'm rambling again. I'm on a tangent again. So, anyway. Yeah, I used Everstones to breed these Pokemon, and they get on really well, and it was good. So, I don't remember the original point I was making with my cursor ring. I don't remember why I mentioned them, other than I was breeding them. I did have a point. But, yeah, I think it was that they both liked sweet things and, yeah, all that good stuff. So yeah, that was cool. My shiny hunt succeeded eventually. So that was cool. So yeah, we know how the base breakdown works now. We know how the breeding's... Oh, right. I remember now. Imagine scripting a video. Couldn't be me. So yeah, the reason I showed them off was because I gave them that machine. So they bred twice as fast, so that I could get potentially twice as many eggs. Get them faster, because type race is only 1 week every month, right? It means you are assigned a team for the month, and when it is that week, I mean, it's optional, you don't have to do it, but you get points for hatching eggs that match that type, and the team with the most points at the end of the week wins, and you get nice prizes for being in the top 3, and even more prizes for winning, so that's really cool. And we did pretty good. Normal came in 4th this month, so that was cool. And because I got so many points, I got even more rewards, so that was really cool. And I'll show you what I can do with my prizes in just a moment, because they are relevant somewhat to breeding and the phenomenon I want to talk about. But yeah, I gave them the machine, but I didn't want them to be sad, so I loaded up the auto feeder with a bunch of sweet flavored Pokeblocks, and that kept them happy. It was really good. And obviously, it's easier if you have a Pokemon couple that have the same nature, because then you could just put one flavor in, and apparently putting in consumables that match the flavor that they like keeps them happier for longer, which I think that makes sense. I think that's a given. You're gonna stay happier when you're eating nice food that you like, aren't you? So it makes absolute sense. So yeah, so if I were to breed these two Delibird, for example, they would have a 46% base chance of going on dates at all, which is fine. That's nearly a coin flip. So the modified chance, however, is 72%. Now that's pretty darn good. You want to get the modified chance, well, the base as well. I mean, you want to get the base chance as high as possible, but that modified, you want to get that as close to 100% as you can. And in the right conditions, with the right Pokemon, you can surpass 100%. Which, if we go back to that, Goomy a second, you see how she has a twin? Now, Pokemon can only make twins when they surpass 100%, because the excess after 100% becomes a percent chance of making twins. Now, twins are really cool, because you remember how I said you only get a finite amount of adoptions? Did I say that? I can't remember. Well, I meant to say that anyway. But, yeah, you use an adoption per egg, right? But if you make twins, those two eggs are together, and they only cost one adoption for the both of them, which is really cool. So this lovely albino girl here has a twin brother who we fed, which means these two Sliggoo have to be past 100%, which means they really freaking like each other, and they have the perfect conditions to make twins, which makes sense. I mean, look at them. They're both level 100. They're both max happiness. And obviously you want to get their levels in happiness as high as possible. So yeah, of course they're making twins. They've got it good. They are having good breeding cycles, that's for sure. Which is easier if you're hunting for, specific Pokemon. Say if I wanted to shiny hunt Delibird, I won't because I've got my shinies. But if I wanted to shiny hunt or just hatch a bunch of Delibird for whatever reason, I could use these two if I wanted. They'd have a 72% chance of the modified chance succeeding. Now, what affects the modified chance? Well, these are multiplicative. Don't know if I said that right, but that's where all the weird math comes in. So I'm not really going to break that down. But it only shows a couple things here, but there are more things that affect it. Now, what are the other things that affect this? Okay, well, in addition to the level gap, which is obviously the gap between one parent's level and another, there is also the level itself, whether it is a low level or high level. If they were low level Pokemon, it would say low level, but they're not. They're both they're both level 50 and over, so they just aren't low level. So because it doesn't say low level, that means that the level stat is maxed out, basically, as far as I know. Because it doesn't say low level, I just have to assume it's because they are a high enough level for that not to be relevant. But obviously, if you have level 100 Pokemon, then you're gonna have the maximum. What? You're gonna have the maximum level, like high level boost. So that'll be cool. And preferably you want the Pokemon to be the same level. That isn't always the case, and you can breed Pokemon of different levels. As long as it's not extreme, like a level 1 and a level 100, you're probably going to be fine. If it's like within, I want to say like 20 levels, it's probably fine if they are compatible enough already. But you want to try and keep the level gap as small as possible. So level gap affects it, and the level itself affects it. Now, happiness, because these are at maximum happiness, you get the maximum boost of times 1.38, which is really neat. So you want your Pokemon to be happy. And you do that with either consumables in the red machine thing, or if you don't have the red machine thing, you just give them the other consumables that make them happy. Pokeblocks don't affect happiness on their own unless you put them in the red machine, then they do. But the consumables that affect happiness in all circumstances are Easter eggs, sweethearts, cookies, which also increases XP and level, and lovely soup. I think that's it. They're the only ones I can think of, to my knowledge. But you give them snacks and they really like it. You can feed them berries, of course, like one every day, but that affects their XP only, not their happiness. You can give them perfect versions of berries, in which they will only eat the flavor that they like. In the girl's case, spicy, in the boy's case, sweet. But that doesn't affect happiness either. That affects affection with the trainer, which is really neat. Whereas if you use the red machine, you could just put any and all consumables in, like Pokeblocks, snacks, berries, like perfect berries, as far as I know, anyway. And yeah, you just put all sorts in there, and they'll eat it, and it'll affect their happiness. But just on its own, it's just the food consumables specifically that make them happy, which is fine. There's plenty of ways to keep them happy. You can feed them, or you can put them in fields that they have a type affinity in. You want to see how type affinity works? Well, that's a typeless field, so that's not relevant. We'll go to this fairy field here. So, an affinity is the type itself that it is. So, a fairy field has the fairy affinity, of course. And the way that happiness is affected in fields, it depends on what that field's type is effective against. Pokemon that fairy type is super effective against will be happy there. Pokemon that will be super effective against fairy or that just resist fairy type will not be happy there. So poison is super effective on fairy, poison types won't be happy there. Steel resists fairy and fire resists fairy, so they won't be happy there either. Whereas fairy is super effective against fighting, dragon, and dark, so your dark types are all going to be happy there, your fighting types and your dragon types are going to be happy there, and of course, your fairy types are going to be happy there because that's their affinity. So you basically got to check. If you don't know how all the types affect each other, that's okay, because any field that has a type will tell you what Pokemon are happy and sad there. The little red broken heart, that means sad. The little green heart, that means happy. And the longer they stay in those fields, the more their happiness will increase. And these have all been in this field a while. Except for these two. They haven't been in that long, so they're still at the default 27, but this one's been in a while. For example. And she's a dragon type, so she's very happy there. He's a dark type, so he's happy there. Another dragon type that is also a fairy delta, so even if it wasn't a delta, it would still be happy there, but even more so. A fairy delta, but usually that's a fighting fairy type, so 2 for the price of 1. So, that would be really cool. Whereas if it's just a type that isn't affected by it, this one's different because I gave it consumables, but if it was oh yeah, that's a fighting type, isn't it? But if it's just a random type that isn't listed, it's just gonna stay the same. The happiness won't be affected at all. Okay, I did get a bit worried seeing a fire type there, but she is also a fairy type, so I guess that overridden it. You had consumables. Yeah, and you're just not affected. So yeah, the fields that they're located in also affect their happiness. So you want your Pokemon to be very happy. Of course you do. So the level and the happiness affect it. The boost is just the daycare boost, whether you have it or not. You can get it from just increasing your rank and stuff. And it's just a little daycare boost that adds, just adds a nice little boost to their compatibility. So that's really nice. So The modified chance is 72%. That's pretty good. So it's still not guaranteed, but it's okay. It's okay. It's pretty decent. Now you could get that modified to 100%. Depending on the Pokemon, that still doesn't mean you're always going to make eggs. Because variants are pretty darn tough to breed for, and I'll show you why in a moment, which relates to the phenomenon of the bonfire ghastly and such things like that. Now, if the modified chance succeeds, then egg chance 100%, this couple produces delibird eggs. Yeah, no shit, because they're both delibirds. And they don't have any, like, extenuating circumstances that would stop them from making eggs on a modified success. So, yeah, they would just always make delibird eggs. As long as the modified chance succeeds on every cycle, then they make eggs. So, of course, what you're here for is not for how easy it is to breed delibird. It's for how easy it is to breed variants. And the answer is not that easy, actually. And it was a bit of a pain in the ass at first, because these breakdowns weren't always available to show you how it worked exactly. Now that the breakdowns are there, it's easier to see why it's so tough. So if we take, let's see. We've got a nice variant here. We've got an Infernal Blaziken, which is a dark fire type version of the Torchic line, which is really cool. So let's take this, what nature are you, out of curiosity? Let's take this bold Blaziken Inferno type. So likes sour, doesn't like spicy. Okay, this will be a good chance to show off how wacky the percentages can get. Let's put a Cinnamorough in there. Look how wacky those numbers are now. So, of course, they're at default happiness. So, they're feeling okay. So, happiness just isn't really impacting it all that much. Now, the base chance is 44%. These get along reasonably well, apparently. As you can see, there's now a lot of wacky things going on. So there's a big height difference between the two. So that actually penalizes you. There's a -2%. They do have a nature matchup, because neither of them like spicy food. You've got bold and timid, which both dislike spicy food. Like I said before, they don't have to like the same food. Sometimes they can just dislike the same food, which is the case for these two. And I'm just like, oh, I like sour food. I like sweet food. Oh, okay, cool. What do you think of spicy food? Oh, no, it's disgusting. Oh, yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. And they bond over that, hence the nature matchup. I completely forgot, but Pokemon being traded gives you a nice boost as well. So that's really cool. But as you can see, there's a big level gap. They're both low level anyway. So there's a bit of wackiness going on there. Now, if the modified chance succeeds, now, one of these is a variant, and one of these is an exclusive Pokemon. Meaning, it's not a variant of an existing Pokemon. This is a purely made-up Pokemon exclusive to this website. Now the egg chance is 62.5%. Absolutely wacky. Now we've got all these different possibilities. So if the modified chance, being 22%, not very high, is it? If the modified chance succeeds, then 45% of the time they'll make Torchic eggs. 37.5% of the chance, what am I talking about? 37.5% of the time they just won't make an egg. As in, even if the modified chance succeeds, that means succeeded in trying to breed. But the 37.5% says they just failed to breed. So they've got a good chance of making Torchic eggs together, don't get me wrong. But 37.5% of the time, they just won't make an egg, even if they succeed in trying to make one. Then we've got 12.5% for Cinnamorough, which is very low. And then a 5% chance of making an Inferno Torchic egg. Now, what you have to remember about these percentages, this isn't the percent of the time that you will get these eggs overall. This is the percent of the time you'll get these eggs if the modifier succeeds. So this is the percent of that percent. So for example, let's say that this 22% is super consistent and 22 out of it every 100 cycles always succeeds. Just theoretically. That won't always be the case, but let's say theoretically I put them through 100 cycles, their modifier succeeds 22 times. Out of those 22 times, 45% of those 22 times would be Torchic eggs, which is, what is 45% of 22? I have no idea. 9.9. So we'll, given how hard it is to breed variants, we'll round that down. We'll say, actually no, we're being positive about this because we're saying 22 out of the 100 times are always succeed. So we'll round it up to 10. So out of those 22 times that succeeded, 10 of those times made Torchic eggs. 22 times 37.5. Wait, no, hold on. 0.375. We'll round that down. So 8 of those times didn't make an egg. Cinnamorough, 12.5% of 22. 0.12, so 12%, 12.5%, 2.75. We'll round that up. 3, so 10, 8, 3, that's 21, which would leave only 1 left. 22 times 0.05. Yeah, okay, cool. So, as an example, we said that 22 of those 100 cycles did succeed. Not guaranteed, but let's say that they did. I did 100 cycles right now and 22 of them succeeded. 10 of them made Torchic eggs. 8 of them made nothing. 3 of them made Cinnamorough eggs, and 1 of them made an Inferno Torchic egg. Of course, this is all probability and not guarantee, so you can't guarantee that 22% of all of your cycles will work, because that's just not how life works. 22% is low as it is. That is 22% chance, not 22% guaranteed. So that is already very low. And you'd be getting, for every 100 cycles, 10 Torchic eggs, 8 nothings, 3 Cinnamorough eggs, and 1 Torchic Inferno egg out of every 100 cycles. 100. 1 cycle is, it's 100 points. Or like 200 points or whatever it is. It's like 2 points for field, 3 points for party. That's a lot of clicking to do. That's a lot of clicks for 1 cycle. That's like about 200 clicks, I think. It depends on what you click, of course. You can mix and match it, but you're going to need at least 100 clicks per cycle, at minimum. Or, like, give or take a few things, but, yeah. And that's the stats. That's what the math says. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get into all that math. Enough of the math now. But, yeah, as you can see, very low chances of breeding variants. Now, of course, that particular circumstance. Oh, do I want to is the question, and then just keep the images that. I kind of don't want to, because then if I submit to a contest, it'll update the picture. I don't know. I'll leave it for now. Yeah, so that particular instance was with a variant and with an exclusive. Now, variants are hard to breed and exclusives are hard to breed, so that's kind of stacking all the odds against you, really. So yeah, that's basically how that works. However, what I want to talk about, it's been over an hour. Why am I only just getting back to Ghastly? Anyway, in the case with Ghastly, of course, people are breeding a lot of Ghastly right now. A lot of people are breeding both Cantor and Bonfire versions of Ghastly, both intentionally and unintentionally. So, let me show you an example of breeding two variants, the exact same species, the exact same body type. Oh wait, I can't, they're both girls. Lol, okay, never mind. They're all girls except for one. Okay, that's fine. I'll show you different examples then. We'll take this girl and this boy. So here we go. Actually, before I do that, let me show you breeding with a regular Ghastly first. Whoa, these really love each other apparently. Okay, that's cool. So you can see these are both Ghastly, but they're not the exact same. One is a variant, one is not. Your best chance is to breed two variants together, or two originals together if you don't want the variant. Because that's the only way you could guarantee not getting the variant. If you want to breed a variant for the original eggs, then by all means you can do that. You're more likely to get the originals anyway. So I could use these two to just breed as many regular Ghastly eggs as I wanted. However, if I wanted to breed the variant out of these two, there's a lot to consider here. As you can see, there's a big level gap. However, they're both the same species, so that's cool. Same body types. They got type matchup because they both have ghost in common. But they are poison fire, so if they were both ghost poison or ghost fire, it would be a bit higher. Nature matchup, let's see. Bitter gentle doesn't like sour. Sweet hasty doesn't like sour. Okay, yeah, so they both dislike sour. So that's cool. And they were both traded, so that helps. Now the modifier is lower. It's only 47% because of the low level and because of the big level gap. So that's unfortunate. However, because they are both Ghastly, they do have a 100% egg chance. So if their modifier succeeds, they will always make eggs. However, if you breed one original and one variant, it will skew like this. 95% of the eggs tend to be the original and 5% tend to be the variant. Now let's look at the difference if we breed two variants. Now, of course, these are a bit different because it's a Ghastly and a Gengar. However, look at how this skews now. The original loses 5% and the variant gains 5%. So it's not that much of a difference, but it's noticeable. So these two, both being Bonfire variants, instead of making 95% ghastly and 5% bonfire ghastly, it now becomes 90% chance of making ghastly and 10% chance of making bonfire ghastly. Again, that's probability, not guarantee. But it's still pretty good. You've got a slightly better chance of making the variant with 2 of those variants. Now, of course, I can't breed these 2 because they're both girls, but let's pretend they're both boys and it says they are compatible for breeding. These 2 would have a pretty good shot because they're both the same stage. They're both haunters. Of course, you can breed any members of the evolution line at any stage, but it tends to be better if they're at that same stage. So 2 Ghastlies, 2 Haunters, 2 Gengars, for example. So that would tend to be better because, they've got that same body shape and size. There's not any difference between the 2. But these are both girls, so they can't breed, unfortunately. But however, I could breed this boy with the girls. So you've got like a 60% chance with the sour one. And it'll probably be about the same for the spicy one, actually. It'll be about the same. Yeah, 60%. But there's no level gap between the 2, so that's cool. And I have successfully bred my original Bonfire Gengar with both of those girls. I have succeeded both times. Hence, why I got these extra Ghastlies from. Because, the mum and the dad are already in my party. And I think they're the same for this one as well. Yes. See, the problem, unfortunately, is that, I did succeed in breeding my male Gengar with both of my Haunters. However, with the Impish Haunter, I only made regular Ghastly eggs. Which may be partly down to the fact that the food she likes is the food that he doesn't like. Because mild Pokemon don't like sour food. And you know what? It's actually vice versa as well, now that I think about it. Impish Pokemon don't like dry food. So they kind of have a really bad nature matchup, actually. I don't know if it'll say. It doesn't. But, they're kind of not very compatible natures because they both hate each other's foods and like each other's hated foods. So that may have been why only original Ghastlies came from them, but we got these 2, we got these 2 other Ghastlies from the naughty and mild pairing, which was cool. Can we just appreciate how sick the tiny sprites look? Especially the Haunter. Look how sick that looks. It looks really good. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna give you a Neverstone. Actually, no, I'm just gonna... No, I don't want to evolve it. I'm gonna give you a Neverstone. And you are almost ready to evolve. Stop. Oh my god, every time I click take item, it keeps thinking I'm clicking evolution requirements. There we go. Now none of you can evolve. Anyway. After much rambling and much faffing on, now let me get to the original point of the video after over an hour. Thank you for your patience, by the way. We're finally here. We're finally at the point I was trying to make. Now, the point I was trying to make was, here's the phenomenon with breeding variants. because you've seen how tough it is to breed variants, with it having to do all these different checks, and then the probability being percentages of checks within checks, you can see how hard it is to breed variants. Though not impossible. As you can see by these 2 Everstoned Ghastlies in my party, I succeeded. However, because it is so tough and rare, though not impossible to breed variants, you will now notice what I call the variant influx phenomenon. I made that name up just now. Literally just now. So the variant influx phenomenon is where a variant of Pokemon, or an exclusive Pokemon, exclusive works too, so an exclusive influx phenomenon, just any time a new Pokemon comes out, you will see people try to breed for that Pokemon and get a lot of eggs that they don't want. So they'll flood the shelter with them. And if you happen to be hunting for that Pokemon, this is a great thing. It's a fantastic thing, because then you don't have to breed for it yourself. You could just adopt from the shelter, which is crazy, because if you're looking for a specific Pokemon in the shelter, that could take a while. There are things you can do to make it easier to find that Pokemon, but I'm not going to go into all those methods now, because that's not really something we have time for. And it's not super important anyway. But, I mean, as you can see, you can, filter for them. You can do all sorts. Just keep it nice and short. So, as you can see, my shelf is looking a bit bare at the moment because I haven't refreshed it in a while. Let's see what happens when I refresh it. As you can see, on a normal reload, we have 2 Ghastlies and a Ghastly egg. This is just on a normal reload. As you can see, I have 2 flutes. If I didn't have those flutes, those little key-looking things there, if I didn't have those, they'd just be grayed out and I wouldn't be able to collect them. Now, these flutes are called the white flute and the black flute. And they make shelter surfing a lot easier, because a regular reload gives you just anything. It gives you a mix of Pokemon and eggs. If you don't want to find any eggs in a shelter and you only want to adopt Pokemon, then you give a little toot on your white flute. Just like that. Now it's only showing Pokemon. Even then, there's still 2 Ghastlies there that have been hatched and released. Whereas a black flute will only attract eggs. So the white flute repels eggs and attracts Pokemon. The black flute switches it around and repels Pokemon and attracts only eggs. So that makes it a lot easier if you're hunting for eggs or particular Pokemon or whatever. So we'll do a few regular reloads. Here we've got 2 Ghastly eggs, 3 Ghastly eggs, and 2 Ghastlies. 2 Ghastly eggs and a Ghastly. The same again. Okay, we've got one with nothing Ghastly related, so that's pretty impressive so far. Now the white flute, we have nothing Ghastly related. 5 Ghastlies all of a sudden. 1 Ghastly, 2 Ghastlies, another Ghastly, 3 Ghastlies, 2 more Ghastlies, 5 more Ghastlies, another 5, and another 5. And yeah, just go back to the regular refresh. 4 eggs. Yeah, I forgot I had the Caprikid filter on. I guess I don't really need to search for Caprikid anymore at the moment, as cute as it is. But yeah, as you can see, we're getting some Ghastlies. There's 6 Ghastly eggs and 3 Ghastlies just on this one page. That is 9 out of 30. That is almost a third of the whole page just Ghastly related. Now watch what happens when I press the black flute. Everyone start playing that music, that Mario music that like does the monkey circle meme. Time it to this. So three what's that song called? The one that's like do 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 do. Okay. Get it up. I want you to get up the song and I want you to play it. I'm gonna try and time it as best as I can to you. So play the song in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Was that fun? I thought so too. But yeah. Look at how many ghastly eggs are in the freaking shelter because people are breeding so many ghastlies, both intentionally and unintentionally, by trying to breed for the variant and just releasing them all into the wild. That is just 10 ghastlies all in a rectangle there. What the frick? But yeah, as you can see, here is the phenomenon. Here is the phenomenon in full swing, everybody. I was not kidding when I said that when people breed for variants, you will find a lot of the original versions being made into eggs and just released into the shelter in hordes and hordes. At one point, I reloaded this page and 20 out of 30. That's 2/3. That is nearly 67% of the page was just all ghastly eggs. It was insane. It was the most bonkers thing I'd ever seen. Now, I've seen this phenomenon happen various multiple times before. Oh, right, okay, it's, yeah, I guess the shelter's just gonna empty now because it's, hitting midnight. So it's now, close for daily reset. Please try again at 5 minutes past midnight server time. So yeah, now the shelter just will be empty for now. While everything like resets and stuff. But you get the point, right? This is the phenomenon I've been talking about. It's incredible. Every time a new Pokemon comes out, people want to breed for it. And it's more so the variant one than the exclusive one. The variant one gets a bit crazy because of the fact that, like, at best you can get a 90-10 split, like I showed you in the shelter, with 2 variants. So yeah, it gets wacky, and it's incredible. It really is incredible. So yeah, that is the phenomenon that I wanted to share with you all. And oh yeah, I've got like some results of my biggest shiny hunt so far. Actually, no, my biggest shiny hunt was probably the Teddy Cursor one. But this one I was pretty dedicated. Gated? More like goated. But I was pretty dedicated to this one, and I finally managed to hatch a melon Oricorio. Now, you can't hatch this style of Oricorio because this is a variant. This is a variant specific to Pokéfarm. But it's really cool. And what's cool when you hatch a special version of a Pokemon that has variants that you can easily get you can then just dex all the variants by changing the form, like with Arcario, for example. And it was very cool. Look at the fruits of my labors. Hold on, it loaded the wrong field for some reason. Look at the fruit of my labors. They're beautiful. I got one shiny of everything. And then I got an albino and a melon. It was very freaking cool. Speaking of variant, Ruffwool, a variant from breeding a Rockruff and a Wooloo, or any member of that family, which then evolves into Lycanwool, which sadly does not have a dusk form like the original does, but it has midday and midnight. Got the midnight one there, which is cool. My favorite one is the midday one. It's really nice. And yeah, there's just all sorts of variants you can get. And all sorts of exclusive Pokemon you can get. And it's just very, very nice. See, like, here's an albino Swoobat. Here's an albino Ponyta. Oh, here's an albino Wobbuffet. Here's an albino Girafarig, which I got during my normal type race. Which is what plus TR stands for. Plus Amulet is the Silver Amulet, and then level 7 is the highest you can get your albino radar to. That wasn't even with a Z crystal either. That's pretty incredible, actually. Because that wasn't even what I was hunting for. It just hatched seemingly randomly, which is pretty great. I mean, it obviously wasn't random, but it was in the middle of a hunt, so it felt random. So that was very nice. And sometimes you could just get Pokemon with costumes on, and they're very cool. And I love them. So yeah, I got that from Party Panic. I'll end the video on a dance contest, but before I do that, I want to show you the kind of prizes you can get from type races. Z fragments, which make up Z crystals. As you can see, because I did so well in a normal race, I ended up with 21 normal fragments. That's a lot. You only need 7 to make a crystal. I can make 3 of them. So I'm just going to do that now. As you can see, I have a Fire Z crystal active till Halloween. And I kind of wish I'd saved it for Type Race next month, because I'm on Team Fire next month. I think I should get another one, maybe. Oh, I have contest prize to claim. I think I might have to try to get a Fire Z crystal before November 10th, which is when the next Type Race starts. Did I feed them alright? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. So yeah, you can do all sorts of really cool things on this website. You can, ooh, Eevee is the Pokemon there. Slightly higher chance of hatching shiny than normal for 24 hours. The V-Wave is Steel, meaning there's an XP boost for Steel types today. And you can get Steel fragments from the Hollow Research Tower, which is here, where you collect Delta points. I have 40 of them, so I could trade for a Steel fragment if I wanted to. But I don't have any. I don't just want to get one random Steel fragment. If I had like 6 of them, then yeah, I might as well, but I'm not going to. But yeah, you can Delta type your Pokemon. You can Shiny hunt, an Albino hunt, and Melon hunt. I've got an Uber Charm, increasing melon chances. No melons this month, but that's okay. I think I'm out of shiny charms. Yeah, I don't have any shiny charms. That's okay. Yelbino radar. Oh yeah, I have a silver amulet for that, and shiny chances are increased by the Poké radar, which is increased further with hypermod, and a gold amulet. And I have 15 days of hypermod left, which I think is just after. Yeah, it expires just after my birthday. And you can enter contests, which is really cool. Ooh, the top quarter. Nice. Okay, got 125 GP and a blue beret. Very nice. I know the picture isn't relaxed themed, but I used that picture for flexible themed beauty once, and it did really well, and I just don't want to change the picture. It's really good. And who won? To the newest one, please. Which was that one, right? Yes. That was the winner. I am not surprised. It is very beautiful. That was the winner of Relaxed Beauty. Which was cool. And that's what you use your Poké Blocks for. And luckily he likes dry food anyway. And dry Poké Blocks are his favourite flavour, and that increases beauty anyway. So, yes. He is most fabulous. CS means custom sprite. And you can get all sorts of cool sprites like that. And like I said at the beginning, if you join and you say Luke Peristor referred you, we can get free coins and custom sprites after you do a few steps of, like making progress in the game and stuff, which is very cool. So, after an hour and a half, I think we should end on a nice celebratory dance contest, which is very difficult on mobile, so I'm going to suck, and I'm very sorry. Oh yeah, I have to choose a Pokemon. Who's dancing? Okay, here we go. That is loud. This is gonna be so hard. I should have chosen my Whizgengar. Okay. So their turn first. It's very hard on mobile when you do the simultaneous ones. Oh god. The left is not working at all. Oh, I did down instead of up. Ah! How did I manage to do two at the same time? Oh god, okay. Now it's gonna get wacky. Oh god, and then I do that. I accidentally scroll instead of press. I hate when I accidentally scroll. That sucked. You know what? I got 30 perfects. I'll go with that. Yeah, I should choose my other wizard Gengar, shouldn't I? Yeah, now they're matching. Let's go. Dun, dun, dun. Now they're perfectly in sync. Let's go. Dun, 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 dun. Why am I doing it to theirs? I love when they do the flips. It's really good. How did I get the 2 perfect? That's amazing. I should have my fingers closer together. Oh, wrong one. Apparently I can do up and right perfect. No, I did up instead of right. Oh, come on, I got that. What? Damn. Okay, a couple of those misses should have been hits, but oh well. Okay, we'll do one more with Whizgar. I love the music. I wonder what music it is. And yeah, you can just do fun events like this. It's great. This is definitely easier on PC. Because you don't have the chance of, like, accidentally scrolling. Like you do on mobile. I wonder who did this music. Okay. Oh, okay, I haven't quite mastered up and right yet. I wonder, what if I just use 2 hands? What then? Oh, shit. No, it's worse. It's worse now. Yeah, it just does not take my left hand input at all. Oh god, this is worse. Stop scrolling! Oh my god. If I could stop, like, moving the screen, that would be great. Yeah, at least with a PC, you just have, like, 4 keys on a computer and that's it. Let's try. No, not that one. My albino giraffe egg. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I'll just use one hand because it just barely takes my left hand input at all. Even when I'm pressing precisely and very hard, it's like, no. Go, giraffe egg. Pop off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, I fucked it up. I'll take that. It scrolled without me. I only pressed on that. I didn't swipe. Okay, if I hold it horizontally, it seems to help, apparently. No fuck. Okay, holding horizontally does not help. Ah. It's hard, okay. Oh, that might be a new record for perfect, so. I wonder if anyone has, like, got perfects on the whole thing. Yeah, there's no prizes, but it is just for fun. So yeah, Dance Inferno is fun. Yeah, it's a good time to be a Ghastly fan right now. So I guess if you want to find a lot of Ghastly eggs in the shelter, and you want to wow, if you want to hatch a bunch of ghosties for Halloween and participate in the Halloween event, I mean, it might be a bit late now for Party Panic, but that's okay. There are always events every holiday. There's more from where that came from. There's still 3 days on the tournament left. And yeah, there's so much more where that came from. So if you like what you see, feel free to join me. Yeah, it'll be good fun. This may have been better off as a stream rather than a nearly 2-hour video. Jeez Louise. Anyway, I think it is time to end this video. And I can't be bothered to edit it. So you know what? I'm just not going to, because I don't think anything super stupid happened. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna upload this video now. So thank you for watching. I've been Lyrical. I have been Luke Peristal from Peristal Farm on Pokéfarm Q. Farming for you since 2022. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Except when I do, which is not often. But we have fun here, and yeah, it's good wholesome times all round. So thank you for watching. Have yourselves a very happy Halloween. Hope you all have a great time. And I will see you all next time on Shadow Ball Z. I get it, because Gengar can do Shadow Ball. Lol. Alright, anyway. That's it. That's the end of the video now. Good night, everyone. Bye.